Expanding Homes in China, January 12th, 2021. My wife and I live in China. I feel as if I am living in the future. All the buildings in our neighborhood are designed to expand when they are heated by the sun. From my window, the surface layer parachutes out. The shadowed space between the inflating skin and the structure cools the air drawn in. As the air cools, it pulls the skin back to the structure, forcing it to the top and down into the building. My parents arrived for a visit. My dad loves the Japanese design of our building, as ours inflates into a rook and then a bishop once full. My building's particular design is pretty common in this area. My father's favorite variation is the cylindrical model, inflating into an angular coil he calls pile of rope. The coils are rectangular prisms bent snugly at 90 degrees over and over around the building. This design is even more efficient, featuring an electricity harvester. Water in the intricate piping collects heat, which is converted into electricity while shielding the structure. My wife and I buy a new house. It isn't new, but it's new for us. It's in downtown Seattle, right outside the entrance of a tunnel. I like the design of the tunnel. In relation to the buildings above, the tunnel is 2 stories above ground, but below the buildings, grass and trees prevail alongside a road with sidewalks. The front door has a fixed entrance, whereas the back door has a telescoping kaleidoscopic glass stairway. The backyard is a large patch of grass, but the back door doesn't have a lock on it. Instead, the walkway up collapses. I think the deep state is about to collapse, as Joe Biden is the last person that can represent it. When collapsed, no one can reach the doorway. It can be left extended and set with an automatic withdrawal when someone approaches without carrying the fob. The first thing I do is move our stuff into the house. Next, I visit the grocery store. It's game day and everything in the store has a Seahawks logo on it, even the home-baked frozen pizzas. I hear, "I was having a great time with the fanfare, tossing people half pizzas, shouting after, 'Eat this, the government can't touch it yet! Go sports team!'" I bump into a tall, skinny ginger man who is throwing away an untouched slice of pizza. I assume he's tossing it as nothing with that large of a $1.50 price tag could be edible. The vendor that sold it to him did so illegally. Once it's out of his hands, he turns, staring at me, distracted, as if he is viewing memories which obstruct his attention. His face brightens as he realizes that he knows me. He guesses who I am incorrectly twice, before I interrupt his third try just to tell him the correct answer. We talk and laugh, we shop, check out, and walk out together. I have a Chinese girl with me, and he has a friend he calls Jess. The Chinese girl speaks with him, and I with Jess. The groups forget about each other. Jess asks me, "So, who is she to you? Side piece? No, just a friend." Seeing each other, the groups remember each other and agree without contest to go see a movie as a group. My old friend drives us in his old POS car. He nearly hits a person with blue hair in the parking deck of the theater. They, them, chase us and beat on the car until we open our doors and get out of the vehicle, leaving the car and Crazy behind to go upstairs to my new home. The plan is to clean until our showtime. My wife will be joining us for the film. She will help with the cleaning. Taking the stairs up, an old man takes me by the hand, leading me up while mumbling incoherently to himself. There, it goes up there. Hey, leave me alone. He doesn't hear me, continuing on talking to himself. He picks up a book as I turn away, scanning the room, looking for something to defend myself with or use to bribe him with to leave me alone. Scanning back, he's gone. I don't know what happened to him. I hear commotion going on outside. I look out the window on a panoramic view. From left to right of my view, someone has built an obstruction over the streets. Down below, there's a police standoff going on against armed and masked men in all black military gear. They each have a rifle and sidearm. They are actively trading fire. I'm directly behind the gunmen, and the police are firing toward my building. I'm in the crow's nest, so to say. I set up my Nikon Z6 with a 300mm lens, recording the whole battle. I scribble on the window in cherry chapstick, "Stay tuned for the play-by-play." I lay on the floor with the LCD display tilted flat to my face. I draw the positions of the players on a dry erase board with suggestions on what the police and rebels are capable of in scrimmage. I put the board in the window and return to watching from the safety of the LCD screen. I don't know why the police aren't taking my advice. Could they be afraid of hitting me? I scramble for my camera as I realized I'm looking at the picture of tomorrow's front page. I could swear I brought my camera bag with me. I give up when I remember my phone and that I can take pictures with my phone. I look around but can't find my phone either. I become aware of the multitude of moving boxes left by the previous tenants. These boxes are very distracting and threaten to trigger my ADD. I search the house for my bag twice over. My wife shows up, which means she too can help me by calling my phone. I look back outside and the incident is over. Blood in the street, a gunman lying on his back motionless, and the other gunmen have retreated. I turn back to my wife. "I need you to call me right now." Before she does, she's taken on by psychosis, swirled and mixed around inside the house. We go to bed and fall asleep. When we wake up, we go to bed and fall asleep. When we wake up, we go to bed. But she talks nonsense about Bible days, keeping track of the days of your life based on the number of days you prayed and read the Bible or attended church. This doesn't seem right. I attempt to call her out about her lack of attendance, but I become trapped within the psychosis myself. I fall asleep, I wake up, and I try to get her to wake me up by saying, "Red, red, red," but to no avail. We go for a walk outside. When we return, we use the back door to our building, as do many other people. I feel happier now than I did on our walk, but I still feel trapped, as I'm unable to enjoy a walk around my own home. When back inside, I remember I never was able to find my camera. Outside my window, there's a traffic light. I open the window and poke it without even needing to stretch or strain. If a strong gust of wind came, the light would surely bump my house. In the left corner of the window sill, there is a pile of old traffic light lenses. The old man reappears. I'm confident now that he's a ghost and try to hide him from my wife. I don't want her to be disturbed by the fact of its existence. She's happier without knowing. The next day, I returned home to the back door where I discover a huge black man. I'm still upset about not getting the picture of the shootout. I'm confident had I gotten the shot, a news organization would have purchased it from me. Time would definitely have been interested. Unfortunately, I never found my camera. The big black man follows me upstairs. I don't realize this until I turn around to close the door of my unit. Until this moment, I had never considered the back door to be a safety hazard. I was unaware that the back door hadn't telescoped behind me. I try to close the door, but he shakes the door, popping it open with ease. He asks, "Can you let me in, please?" "Nope." Closing the door. This time the door stays shut. He comes now as a different person, an actor who performs similar roles to myself. "I'm not interested in your charade." "Let me enter. I'll give you $100 if you let me in." The tunnel automatically draws back 3 feet. "Leave and the gate goes out. Stick around and the floor will disappear." The man turns to walk away. "I'll be back. I'm very glad this is the automatic setting, as I'm still not familiar with how to operate the telescoping feature. Instead of leaving, he pushes the door with one finger. The door falls to the floor. I search the house for a weapon. I find a cache of baseball bats in a room upstairs. The bats' C-axes are straight and the handle finished. However, all other axes are malformed, damaged, broken, not rounded, polygonal, and square. I select a square bat that feels solid enough to do sufficient damage. I take one swing at him, sending him running out the telescoping back door. I flip the switch. No more problem. I'm convinced this house is haunted. It's taking an impact on my mind, causing me not to think of time as speeding up. It does appear blurred in my memory. My bedroom and office are on the second floor, but it's almost showtime. We leave and run down to the movie theater. I leave the group to go to the bathroom. The bathroom is on an open balcony. The personal chamber is a narrow, rounded cubicle with tech to analyze the occupant's daily health. I just need to pee. I open one of the chambers, finding a massage bed. Only this table has an extra hole for the genitals. The floor isn't completely solid, as there are knuckle-wide gaps filled with a circulating fluid. I'm unsure if I'm supposed to lay on the table with my dick in the smaller hole and my face in the larger, or if the bigger hole is where I'm meant to sit to shit. Maybe I'm supposed to treat the penis hole as a target for my urine. I've seen less surprising installations in the restrooms of art exhibits. The flooring makes me feel I can defecate anywhere I want, as the floor will be flooded after I leave. I don't want to make a mistake. I back out of the cubicle and attempt to close the door. The door doesn't sink to the opposite side as expected. I try to force it and the panel pops off the front of it. A geyser of piss gushes out, hitting me just below the chest. A worker immediately arrives. Sorry, this thing isn't very user-friendly. I couldn't fucking figure it out myself, as there weren't any instructions. The designers were too focused on making it look like alien technology, or hypoallergenic as they called it. They forgot about the user. This shouldn't have happened to another person. For now, give me your clothes. I will hang them up in the closet where they test the limits of physics. I follow him to the closet where a motor the size of a missile silo runs, spinning a free shaft. A lab tech approaches the shaft. He puts his hands flat over the shaft, but not touching, and pulls away. Interesting, the bones in my hand feel denser. The tech leaves and comes back with a normal baseball bat. He touches it to the shaft ever so slightly. The shaft smears the wood like putty, forming it into shape as the bats in the cache of bats. He slips, presses the bat too hard. The bat warps around the shaft instantly, freezing in time before the end hurtles away from the tech. The high speed shows it doesn't even break until it made the second pass around the shaft, and the piece that hurtled away actually spiraled away, passing the tech on both sides of his head, moving so fast it appeared to travel in a straight line, as our eyes couldn't properly perceive the frame rate. Some of the bat fragments exhibit conchoidal fractures. Studies find that the shaft is generating a gravitational field, which is attracting the fine particles of metal that the tree has drawn from the atmosphere. A mother can tell the difference between no drugs and hard drugs in her baby. You're going to get caught, just as the father who offers up the runt of 7 children for psychedelic experimentation. The boy reacts well to treatment, relishing in the opportunity to be the next evolutionary step. I'm still waiting for my clothes and bath. I look beyond the maintenance team, seeing another cubicle. I figure it to be the woman's room. However, there is no privacy for this one. It contains 3 pods. The left pod is a sitting toilet. The center pod has stairs leading up into a small see-through glass tub with an infinite selection of soaps. The far right one is a little bit larger and made from limestone and contains a hot spring. Water boils, surging upward from a hole drilled into the limestone. There's bath soap waiting on the floor for the next user. I step inside, the soap slimy between my first and second toes. A button stands out on the wall. It's made from a very hard, dark stone. I push the button and the water rises, carrying the soap up, coating my body. Jets come on, churning the water over my head, waterboarding me in the process. The worker shouts from outside, "Are you ready to come out?" As I collapse, the water is blasted up and away. I feel weightless and pass out. I come to in the living room of my new house, wearing new clothes. I wake up gently, remembering what I've just been through. I shake my wife gently, asking, "Have we closed on that house yet? Have we already transferred the escrow? Let's just hold off for a little bit."